guys, welcome to my review of the movie Se7en, directed by David Fincher. Right out of the gates, I just want to tell y'all, this movie is fantastic. Now this review will be split up into two parts. The first half has no spoilers, so you'll be okay. A lot like my Sonic review. But the second half does contain spoilers. I will let y'all know when it gets to that point, but for now, enjoy your spoiler-free review. This movie is a haunting, pulse-pounding masterpiece that pushes the boundaries of what a thriller can be. With its unrelenting tensions, gripping performances, and unforgettable themes, this film has earned a place in my heart as one of the most iconic psychological thrillers. Now, just a quick overview of the plot without giving anything away. This movie is a classic cat and mouse chase between two detectives, Brad Pitt as Mills and Morgan Freeman as Somerset, plus a calculating serial killer who uses the 7 deadly sins as framework for his grisly murders. Now, I would just like to talk about the actors quick. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. I mean, come on, we have two iconic, legendary actors here. I love Morgan Freeman. He is fantastic, and almost in every movie he plays like the wise old man who's like very intelligent and kind of knows what's going on and how to read people. I love him in Shawshank Redemption. I loved him in Hard Rain, and now I love him in Se7en. In this movie, no surprise here, he plays a very intelligent, superior, very good classic detective that everyone can rely on. Although he's getting sick of it. He just wants to be done and quit, and he does not want to take this case. But he gets caught up in it and ends up having to, of course, or else the movie would just, not exist. Brad Pitt plays Detective Mills, and he is a hothead, the exact opposite of Somerset, aka Morgan Freeman. He's ready to jump into action and take the most hardcore crazy case, although he has problems separating his emotions from his work. Especially when you're a police officer or a detective, you do not want to have any emotions and think with your heart. You want to think with your head. And he struggles with that. Little foreshadowing there. But together, they make an iconic duo. Now, this movie is rated R. I mean, obviously, like we can kind of piece together, the movie Se7en has the 7 deadly sins. It's not going to be a PG movie. Now, what I love about this movie is it has layers. Like, it's not just a serial killer who's out killing a bunch of people for sport. He's got like a whole thing going on. He's got like a whole backstory, and it's not just for revenge either. These aren't some people who like scammed him. They're not like rich insurance guys who managed to take his money. No. These are just random people of all ages, genders, have no ties to each other whatsoever, but there's a bigger game going on. And once you think you know what's happening, or you think like, oh yeah, this guy is blah blah blah, you will be surprised, because it is way deeper than how it looks on the surface. In this movie, like the scenery and the setting, it gives the whole vibe and just creates and brings this film to life. Not only are the actors, Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, and the characters, like the bad guy and the whole story and plot, phenomenal, but then you tie in the rain-soaked city that's loud and unruly and obnoxious. I mean, the city itself is a whole story. When you watch this movie, you feel like you're living it, like you're one of the detectives too, because this movie just really is visually appealing, and every millisecond of a frame just has something going on. I mean, even in the background of the background, there's something going on that's like, whoa. I mean, visually, they have tons of stuff going on, too. It's actually insane. This is probably the most intense movie I've ever seen, just because, like I said before, you think you know something, and you think you know what's gonna happen next, and predict things, but then something incredibly unpredictable happens, and you're like, whoa, this is not what I was expecting. The way they build up so many side characters and so much random people that you're like, why do we need this person? Who is this? What purpose do they serve? But then you find out at the end how it really all just ties everything together. Not only is this movie just entertaining because it's really tricking your mind and you're sitting at the edge of your seat the whole time. And the killer's obsession with the 7 deadly sins and like what he's really trying to do and his whole main purpose just really forces you as the audience to face uncomfortable truths of human nature and just really experience and see things that happen to people every single day but we all just turn our heads like a blind eye to it. This movie really reminds us what's going on outside in the real world. Now let's talk about the killer, John Doe. His portrayal of the serial killer is very calm, very restrained. He's cold. He does the most insane, diabolical things to his poor victims. They're disturbingly calm and collected, making every scene he's in feel more unsettling. Kevin Spacey played John Doe, and he did a phenomenal job. I mean, gosh, everyone did in this movie. Even some of those random side characters, they all did fantastic. And David Fincher did a fantastic job at creating a world that feels grim and dark, suffocating, immersive, but also realistic. I mean, the city and everything in this world, it's just so real. If you have not yet seen this movie, you need to check it out. Because honestly, this movie is just fantastic. I cannot say good enough things about it. I mean, the psychological horror just really connects with your brain and makes you question a lot of things, especially with the twist at the end. I'm not going to spoil it, but oh my gosh, a lot of people have different reactions. Some people love it and are like, wow, this just made the movie become even better than it already was, and it was already fantastic. And some people hate the ending. It has a very complex ending that some people, like myself, kind of struggle to comprehend and don't really understand how unfair some things were. Now that's all I'm going to say for the no spoiler version. So now I'm going to move on to the spoiler version. So if you don't want the movie to get spoiled, I recommend you stop right here. Make sure to like if you've enjoyed, comment if you're gonna watch this movie, looking forward to it, whatever. Please subscribe and ring the notification bell. Thank you for watching and have a good day. Now for those of you who have stayed, I assume you don't care if the movie gets spoiled for you, or you've already seen it and want to hear more of like an in-depth review. So this is the spoiler version now, so I already warned you. Now let's get started. Like I mentioned before, John Doe is just a very complex bad guy because his killings were gruesome and violent and disgusting in every way, but some of the people he were killing weren't necessarily victims. The people who he was killing, obviously, were a part of the 7 deadly sins: pride, sloth, greed, gluttony, lust, envy, and wrath. Kind of strict rules, if I'm being honest, because I feel envy almost every single day. But anywho, this guy is making it his main goal to like kill people who do not follow the rules and who are, partaking in the 7 deadly sins. But some of the people he was killing actually ended up saving a lot of people's lives. For example, he did kill like a rapist and some bad people like drug dealers because, they were obviously breaking the rules and not being good people. Should he have killed them? No. But also, he probably ended up saving a lot of other people's lives who could have been affected by these bad people that became the victim of John Doe. It's very controversial because, yes, John Doe was a bad guy and he was killing people, and that's not fair and unjust, and violence and killing is never the answer. But also, were these people that he was killing necessarily good? Some of them, no. But this movie was just so fantastic at having you feel so many different emotions. Because instead of the bad guy just being, kind of like Michael Myers from Halloween, where he's just bad and you, already hate him, you're kind of like, wait, what? I mean, he's killing bad people, though. So, we don't really know what's going on with him. I mean, we just don't know what's happening. And the detectives, no matter how close they were, or how fast they figured it out, and how amazing they did, they were always one step behind. John Doe was always coming up with plan A's, plan B's, plan C's. He was always coming up with a backup plan in case the detectives were to find things out. For example, when the detectives found out where he lived, and they went to his apartment and they found all the stuff, that was good for them for the moment, but at the end of the movie, it was actually very bad, because if they wouldn't have gone to where he lived until a couple days later, then Detective Mills' wife wouldn't have died. John Doe admitted that he only killed her because the detectives caught on faster than he'd expected, so he had to do something fast and impulsive. This movie is just brilliant. At the end though, let me tell you, my dad loves the end of the movie. How, John Doe, cut the head off of Agent Mills' wife, put it in the box. I mean, we all love, a good, twist and, a good story. But here's what bothered me. Agent Mills killed John Doe for revenge because John Doe killed his wife, and then Agent Mills went to jail. Like, I get murder is murder, and anyone who murders someone goes to jail, but come on, this dude was a psychopath. There was no saving John Doe in his mind. He, like, that part, like, really bothers me because it's just so played out so well. I mean, they foreshadowed it the whole time during the movie. Morgan Freeman's character was always telling Brad Pitt's character to not feel his emotions and let his emotions connect with his work. He has to detach himself. If Detective Mills wouldn't have killed John Doe and just brought him to jail, then Detective Mills wouldn't have gone to jail either. But oh my gosh, how do you detach yourself from your work with that? I mean, that's why I could never be a detective. I mean, I'm very, like, emotional too in my work. Like, I'm, like, kind of hot-headed. So if somebody, like, would have killed my husband or, like, my mom or something, yeah, I would not be happy. I'd be revengeful. And especially because his wife was pregnant with a baby. A baby. So John Doe just killed 2 people there. The baby and the wife. And Detective Mills had to go to jail for killing him back. I cannot get over that ending. It, like, makes me so mad. My dad loves it. He thinks it's, like, you know, super, like, great or whatever. I hate it. Personally, I hate it. I like everything up until the part where he has to go to jail. Because, like, the law is the law until it's unfair. Because if anyone kills someone, then they have to go to jail. So, like, if you accidentally killed someone who broke into your home and, like, was attacking you and just out of panic, you accidentally killed them, you'd have to go to jail. Like, there's so many scenarios where this situation could be so unfair. I mean, if someone was getting sexually assaulted and they kill their assaulter, they'd have to go to jail. So this movie just does a phenomenal job at showing that not everything is good and evil, black versus white. There's some messy grays, some messy in the middle. So if you have not seen this movie, yet again, I recommend you watch it. It is brilliant. The actors are amazing. Story and plot are just so unnerving and fantastic. And even the scenery and the city, everything just comes together to create a masterpiece of a movie that obviously is fictitious and not real at all. I mean, you know, this didn't actually happen, but it still does have some sense of realism and real life things in it that really get your mind to think. What's in the box? I mean, come on, that line is just iconic. What's in the box? Shivers every time. Now with this review, go watch the movie if you have not. But if you have seen it, I would love to know in the comments what you think of it. Just try not to spoil it for people who haven't seen it. Just say, like, spoilers at the top, and then you can say whatever, but yeah. Make sure to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed, and hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I hope I'll see you around.